Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm sorry, there's been a delay in me uploading for season 13. It's just because I've been waiting to see if there was anything worth reviewing. The the weddings seemed to drag for too long, and I really couldn't see anything to review. I might do at some point, but I'll think about it. So today I'll review the couples as I always do, and then summarize at the end. So to start off with Rachel and Jose, we catch up with them on wedding night. Obviously they seem to be getting along, and there's something a bit offish about them as a couple. But I think the experts have tried to justify why they've chosen them together. Rachel, the following morning, Jose goes to meet up with Rachel's family, and they're sort of able to discuss and sort of give him hints on what she expects in a husband and what are likely to be her faults. And I think for him, he picked up on the fact that she struggles to sort of control her finances. And when Rachel met up with Jose's family, that's something that they brought up, that Jose is very good at managing his finances. And I think the issue they're going to have is Jose comes across as wanting to be very controlling. And I think if he can sort of take a step back a bit and try and work with his partner and not try to sort of do everything for his partner, they will work. Because when they spoke about what each family brought up, he then said, her family brought up that she struggled with finances, and that's something he's going to fix for her. And it's like, she's not a child, she's a grown up woman. The least you could do is, we'll sit down, I'll show you what I normally do and how I normally am able to manage my finances, and see if that is of any help to you. Um, and they seem to be getting along. There are these moments whereby Jose just says things that are just like, oh, okay, that's a bit too much. Like him wanting to brush her teeth and stuff. But I think my initial thought was, I think Rachel should have been paired with Gil. But I think finding her faults as well, you can see why maybe they paired her with Jose. And I hope things work for them. Um, at the moment, they seem to be, well, it's just they've just met. They're just still in the first 48 hours. So hopefully, as they get to know each other, they will be able to make their marriage work. They are a maybe. They, for me, are an Elizabeth and Jamie, whereby they could either work or they could either not work. So it's one of the two. It just depends on what they want in the relationship. But I don't know. I'm still on the fence with them. I don't know whether they're going to succeed. From there, we move on to Brett and Ryan. For me, Ryan, when the first season first started, I was a bit very anxious about him, because I thought he something was a bit off, the way he was very awkward and stuff. But then I think meeting Brett and seeing the type of woman he's been matched with, it sort of opened him up. It sort of made him more appealing, made sort of brought out his sort of slight personality, because he just seemed very dry at first. But then the thing is, he has a problem that two guys have had in previous seasons, in the sense that I think I tweeted this out, that he's a mix of he's a he's a mix of, God, the guys' names have gone slipped my mind. Um, he's a mix of Henry and, God, what's his name from last season? The one who was socially awkward. And the thing is, at times he's just quiet like Henry, and then at times he's just very vocal, and it's sort of like you don't quite understand what he's up to. And at times you just want him to just keep quiet, and just, you're just like, please, 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 please. And then he just says some of the most awkward things, and you're just like, oh, please don't, please, please don't. But then like the issues, when he was talking to our family, and he was saying that reddits and stuff, and it's just like, oh God, that's a Jacob thing. He's just said something that you shouldn't say out loud. Yes, you might thinking, but you shouldn't say it out loud. And I think they seem to be getting along. They seem to like each other, and he seems impressed with who he was matched with. Because one thing I always look at is when the couples, because they don't know each other, when they walk down the aisle, is the first sort of reaction to them seeing their bride or seeing their groom. And I strongly believe that if they keep going the way they are, they could actually work. I know he was put off by the fact that Brett is afraid of flying, and he said, if it was someone he was dating, he would have up with him. And this is why he's unmarried at first sight, because most of these people have mentioned that they're easily sort of turned off by certain things, and so they think that by getting married, they really have to sort of ignore certain things, or they have to be more accommodating. So I think for him, he comes across as just someone. He just needs work. He just needs work. If Brett is committed to making it work, then she has to, you know, just sort of help him maneuver his communication skills. I know she was turned off when people said you have to pry him out of his shell. I don't think she has to pry him out of his shell, because as soon as he saw her, he came out of his shell, and he was a totally different person from the quiet and sort of subdued and sort of just dry person. He started to talk, he started to smile. I know he's got an awkward smile, but I see them working. I think they don't really have a lot of issues. I think the only thing is there might be a sense, in the sense that they might all both want to be in charge. So it's them finding a way to compromise, and their marriage should work. From there, we move on to Merlin and Gail. For me, Merlin and Gail are just um. If there's one couple that I have a strong feeling is not going to work, it's Merla and Gil, for no other reason than the fact that Merla, I think, is got the same issues that Virginia had last season, in the sense that she's not willing to compromise. She's set in her ways and is not willing to sort of take a step back or compromise and try and come up with something else, because they did meet up with each other's families. And um, her girl's friends asked why, didn't, previously her male friends have, his male friends have asked her, why haven't you kissed him? And she said, because, I'm very conservative. And it's like, you have to sort of choose one thing and stick to it. You can't say I'm very conservative and then say, oh, I like spending, I like doing this and that. Or maybe I don't know. I don't know. I just found that confusing. Gil, in my opinion, comes across as someone who was really ready to go through this process and was really looking forward to getting married. And sadly, because the experts thought in trying to match a high maintenance person and a low maintenance person, they could sort of moderate each other. But I am they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle. In my opinion, there's a strong possibility they're going to divorce, because Gil is still very accommodating. He's still very open to the process, but I think at some point he's just going to be fed up if Merla doesn't sort of take a step back and just lower her expectations a bit, because even when they arrived at the honeymoon, she criticized everything about the resort. She criticized everything, and then after criticizing, she asked, do you think I'm high maintenance? Yes, you are, because you could have understood that there is a pandemic and this is the best that they could do. Let's just make do, and if we want to go on something more elaborate, if we stay together, then we can do that. She's traveled the world. She shouldn't expect, because Gil asked her, what were your expectations of a honeymoon, and she couldn't come up with anything. But she knew for a fact that she wasn't satisfied with what she was having to deal with, or what she was having to sort of make do with at that point. So for me, it's going to be a struggle for the two of them. I really don't know. It's going to be a struggle. They might surprise us and stay married, but if they do stay married, if she's still not willing to compromise Sally, it's going to be a Ryan and Clara situation whereby they divorce after the experiment. From there, we go to one of my favorites, Zak and Michaela. Zak, I love Zak. I think this season, Zak is my Vincent, or my Miles. He comes across as a very likable young man. I know you can already see issues in previews coming up, and it's very sad. I hope it doesn't turn into a Chris situation, but um, Zach, you could tell that Michaela's sisters liked him. They were very accepting of him. Yeah, they have certain expectations, which is to be expected. They tried to warn him about, how Michaela can just switch, her mood from one to another. And I think for him, because he's so smitten with Michaela, he didn't listen, and a lot of people commented that he didn't listen. But I hope his family, if nothing else, sit him down and sort of help him maneuver, because he is I don't know whether he's mature enough to handle the challenges that are going to present in this marriage, especially given the previews that are coming up. But then it could be the producers are just trying to sort of draw the audience attention and make sure that people still stay tuned. We'll see as the season goes on. Michaela, oh, she's a very nice person. She comes across as a very nice person. I can't say she's a very nice person because I don't know her. She seems very open to the experiment. She seems to enjoy everything. She seems very appreciative. The fact that she was appreciative of Zach's father for stepping in when they asked for her dad to dance, and it was very nice of Zach's dad to actually stand in and dance with his new daughter-in-law. Um, but then I hope they don't face the same curse as most of the couples that have had early sexual relations on the show have had, because some couples haven't taken time to know each other and they've focused on their sexual attraction, and because they're sexually attracted to one another, by the time that wore off, they didn't have a strong enough foundation to make their marriage work. So I really hope, if nothing else, they take time, get to know each other, work out whatever kinks they have, because there is bound to be friction between people. There is, whether you know each other or you don't know each other, there are going to be problems because they're learning each other. So I really wish them the best and I hope their marriage succeeds. And then my second favorite couple, who out of the blue have suddenly become, tied with Zach and Michaela, are Bo and Johnny. Oh my God, I love Bo and Johnny. Initially, when I saw Bo's reaction about the wedding gift, I was so put off by her. But her transformation since she realized she was marrying Johnny, and how smitten she is with Johnny, has really, been a revelation for me. And I really hope, if nothing else, their marriage works. I like how in everything that they're doing, they're putting their culture first, which is to be expected as presidents of the Vietnamese committees in college. So it's to be expected. And Johnny is coming across as very accommodating. Yeah, Bo has these. I think both of them have these quirks. And because of these quirks, one is hyper and one is just below. And I think Johnny thought he was, hyper in, his lists and stuff, and is realizing that actually Bo is actually worse than him. So I hope they continue to make their marriage work. I really hope they continue to understand each other. You can see how sort of, even though Bo is saying, she's not someone who's used to hugging and touching, she's sort of making an attempt to show that she cares about Johnny and to show that she really wants this marriage to work. And I think, if nothing else, this season, my number one pick for marriage is most likely to work are Bo and Johnny, and I really hope they don't disappoint me. I was really hoping Zach and Michaela as well are going to have a successful marriage, but the previews are sort of making me anxious. And I think my third couple likely to work are um, Ryan and Brett. Um, I think everybody this season, it seems, has the right intentions, and I really hope all their marriages work. But this is an experiment; you can't expect 100% success. If we can get at least 75% or 60%, it's better than nothing. Um, anyway, that's my review for this week, guys. See you next time. Bye. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Till next week. Bye.